Hey Fae folk, welcome back. So for today's video, I thought it would be interesting to take a look at some different doll brands that I used to collect, but I don't anymore, and just discuss why that might be. I'm someone who's been collecting off and on for over 10 years, and at this point, I think it has definitely been more on than off. So it's very natural that my interests sort of ebb and flow. Sometimes I'm a lot more into brats like I am right now than I am at other points in my collecting journey, but that's not what I'm talking about, okay? I'm talking about brands that I'm like, I used to definitely collect this. It wasn't a one-off doll that I bought like as an experiment or anything like that. Like brands that I actively was like going out looking for, like keeping up with the releases that I have no intention of buying anymore. There really aren't like too many because I do feel like I keep the door generally open for the most part. Like I think Rainbow High right now is a really good example. I have been following Rainbow High since they came out. They got me back into doll collecting after a bit of a hiatus. And they're definitely not like my top brand at the current moment. I'm just not as interested in what they're producing right now, but I have no intention of getting rid of my Rainbow High dolls, and I am still following what they're releasing. Like I'm still watching what they're doing in case something comes up that is absolutely amazing and that I want to get my hands on. So like that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about doll brands that I'm like cut ties with, like we used to love. We might still have some, but like we are not buying anymore for whatever reason. I don't know. I just thought this might be an interesting thing to talk about. I feel like this is something that if you collect long enough, is probably going to happen to you. I mean, I guess I could be wrong. Some people just like love everything forever, and I think that's wonderful for you. But I feel like a lot of us do end up having things that we're just like, yeah, I think I'm done with this brand or this line or whatever the case might be. So I thought it would be interesting to talk about the dolls that I feel that way about. Of course, you might love these brands and that is totally okay. I'm not for any of these actually. I'm like running through the list in my head. None of these are things where I'm like critiquing the brand and being like, this is shit and I was stupid for owning it. Like it's not that serious. It's just that my interest has sort of waned. So it is totally fine if you still really love all of the brands that I discussed today, and you're absolutely free to discuss those things in the comments down below. Just do please be kind if you'd like to voice a like opposing opinion, I guess is a good way to put it. And I also would love to hear what doll brands you guys have had this experience with. Like what doll brands have you sort of fallen off of and sort of fallen out of love with? I just think it would be interesting to hear what y'all have to say. But that's enough yapping for the intro. Let's go ahead and jump into the list of dolls. So first on the list for today is any sort of Disney doll. And this is like something that I have talked about fairly extensively on the channel. I literally did a whole video sort of getting my thoughts out when I was going through the decision to not collect Disney dolls anymore. The short compact version of that though, now that I have actively stopped collecting Disney dolls, is I think it boils down to two things. One is just that I have so many fond memories of Disney when I was a kid. Like I loved watching movies, and even like through honestly to the point where I turned 18 and like a little bit past that, I was so excited when I found out that Disney was coming out with a new movie. Like when Frozen came out, I was like, absolutely, I need to go see this. Moana came out, I loved it. Like I was a really big Disney fan, and I still hold a lot of love for those like older. I mean, like some of those are relatively recent, but you know what I'm saying? Like I still hold a lot of love for a lot of Disney IPs. I still would consider myself a fan of a lot of these movies. But lately I just feel like I'm a lot less interested in what they're doing. And I don't feel like that's necessarily a super controversial take. We all know that Disney is doing a lot of live actions that maybe miss the spirit of the movies that they are like replicating, and they're also like just not doing things that excite me when it does come to the few animated films that they have come out with as recently. So I'm just like not super into Disney currently. I think that's reason number one, that I really just felt like maybe I didn't want to have these things in my collection. But reason number two is because I'm picky. If you've been here before, you're well aware of this. I am very picky. It's just how I am. I can't help it. Frankly, I wish I could help it. I think my life would probably be a lot easier if I wasn't so particular about everything. But alas, here I am, very particular. And my problem is that I can't like find the perfect Disney doll. And that's what I want. Like realistically, when I think of my ideal Disney collection, is I would like to have one of each character that I like actively care about. But I cannot find like a perfect one that encapsulates every single thing that I would possibly want. A lot of times I end up seeing, like, we'll just take Rapunzel, for example, because she's my favorite Disney princess. I'll be like, wow, this face sculpt on this Rapunzel doll is incredible. I love it. But I really don't like her outfit. Oh my gosh, I love the dress on this one, but I think the base doll looks completely funky. Everything about this doll is pretty except her articulation is garbage. And like, yes, you can sort of cobble together pieces of different dolls, except for the fact that a lot of the things that I do like are on limited edition dolls. So that suddenly makes that not so accessible. Like if I just needed to buy like 3, even 4 Playline Rapunzel dolls to make my ideal doll, you could make the argument that that could be worth it. Like you could get them on sale or secondhand or whatever. But a lot of components that I think are done the best, which makes sense, like they have a higher budget, are unlimited edition dolls. And that's just like not something I can afford on the secondhand market, but also not something that I would necessarily want to rip apart to create my ideal doll. But for none of the characters that I would want to do that for has Disney or Mattel or anyone that they've licensed through actually produced like my ideal doll. And so I end up just like aggravated. And instead of being like, oh, wow, here's this doll of a character that I really like, I'm just like, wow, that'd be better if her dress was different. So it's just like something that brought me more stress than it did joy. And while I still do think there are a lot of elements of Disney dolls that are really beautiful, like I still do see them releasing like on my Instagram and stuff. Sometimes I do end up talking about them. Like there are good Disney dolls out there. I'm not trying to say there aren't. Just for me personally, with how picky I am, it was a lot easier to just wash my hands of it and say, I'm going to enjoy other people enjoying these dolls. I'm going to live vicariously through other Disney collectors, and I'm not going to spend my money on things that end up bringing me more stress than they do joy. These next two I am kind of cheating, so I am sorry. They're not technically dolls, but I have covered them on the channel, and I do feel like the fan base between like doll collectors and then people who enjoy these toys does overlap a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and touch on them, and then we will jump back into dolls proper. The first one is Littlest Pet Shop, and this one is hard. This one is like still hurting me. I was buying Littlest Pet Shop up until quite recently. Like the generation that they are currently in, I think it's generation 7, just like recently started getting leaks and stuff for wave 4, and I was actively like searching and buying these pets through wave 3. But honestly, the thing with them is not that I dislike them or that I think like the pets look bad or bad quality or anything like that. It's not anything inherently negative. It's honestly purely financial. I have a lot of things that I love and a lot of things that I collect, and I simply like cannot afford all of them. So I do have to prioritize some things over others. I'm always going to prioritize dolls over something like Littlest Pet Shop. Like that's just how it is. I've been buying a bit more anime merch recently, and that's something that I feel more passionately about than Littlest Pet Shop. Even like books, I love to read. I have like a pretty decently sized collection of books, and I would love to add so many more to it. And books are something that I'm a rereader. So like they have a lot of value to me in the sense that I might spend $20, $25 on a book, but that's going to bring me enjoyment for quite literally years to come because I will read it until it turns into dust. So those are things that I'm more likely to prioritize. So I don't hold any negative feelings towards Littlest Pet Shop. I still haven't decided if I want to keep the ones that I do have or if I want to go ahead and sell the ones that I do have since it's like kind of a smaller collection. I'm not 100% on that yet, but there's something that I'm stopping collecting simply because I don't have the finances to fund all of the collections that I would like to have, and they are sort of at the bottom of the priority list. So love them, but something's got to go. And unfortunately, in this case, it's Littlest Pet Shop. The same could kind of go for our other non-doll entry on this list, which is My Little Pony. And I actually hate saying that. They're not to the same degree as Littlest Pet Shop, okay? They're ones that like I'm including in this video on a technicality. I don't know. I just wanted to talk about it, okay? This is a video that I'm making up as I go along. I'm rewriting the rules. But I'm not giving up on My Little Pony, okay? Like Littlest Pet Shop, I have made my peace with. I've said I either am going to keep the ones I have and that's it, or I'm going to sell the ones that I have and I'm not going to buy anymore. Like they're not, I don't want to say dead to me because that sounds really bad. Like that has such a negative connotation. But for me, buying Littlest Pet Shop is off the table pretty much indefinitely. Like we're not doing that. My Little Pony is on pause, okay? Because I do think that I feel more love for the ponies than I do for the Littlest Pet Shop, which is why they're like completely off the chopping block or on the chopping block. These are just on pause because again, I really can't like afford to indulge in all of the things that I enjoy at the current moment. But I feel like at some point in the future that will change, or maybe like I will fall a little bit more in love with ponies and so my priorities will shift. So I'm not currently buying any more ponies, but I do still have like my wish list of different ponies that I want. And I still really, really, really love the ones that I do have. So again, they're on this list on a technicality because right now I'm not buying any more ponies, but like that will change in the future. Like at some point I'm going to end up buying more. So they're not going to be forgotten forever. Okay, after that little intermission of technically non-dolls, we're back to talking about dolls, and we are starting with Nanana Surprise. So first off, I need to say I still don't know if they're like an active brand or if like the brand is dead. It's so hard to tell with Nanana because I feel like they do go through these spells where they just like are silent for a while and then suddenly something new pops up from them. So I don't know if they're done or if it's just that I'm done. But either way, I am done. I just feel like I can't decide how I feel about these dolls, and that does aggravate me. I like to have dolls. I'm like looking at my shelf over here and I'm thinking, every single doll on that shelf makes me happy. Like I look at them and I love them. And some of them I'm like, oh, I would like to paint this accessory or they need their hair washed. But like, I'm not getting rid of any of those dolls unless I have to. Knock on, I don't have any wood. Okay, well, knock on imaginary wood. Like, I don't want to get rid of those dolls. I don't feel anything negative when I look at them. The most that I feel is like, ooh, there's like a little project I could do to make that doll even better. When I look at my Nanana dolls, I feel confused. I just like squeeze the shit out of her head. That felt really aggressive. I'm sorry, girly pop. But yeah, I just like sometimes I look at them and I think they're adorable and I love them and I just think they're so fun and so like unique. I mean, they are interesting, especially these ones that are like the fabric dolls or the minis. I love the minis. They're really, really great little like fidgets and they're super small. So if you want to like have a doll companion while you're out and about, but maybe you're a little bit more shy, like I can be, I do not want to attract attention to myself in public, then they're really nice because you can just like keep them in your pocket or in your bag or whatever. And like they're super, super tiny. So you can have that comfort object without it being super, super obvious if that's something that you're not comfortable with. So like there are really nice things, but also sometimes I look at them and I'm like, I don't have that many Nananas. So it feels like a very tiny little, almost like awkward collection. And sometimes they do bother me. Like, especially I've got a couple of the teens and I'm definitely going to forget the name. I'll put a picture in here of the one that I'm talking about. Like she's adorable, but her hair is unmanageable. Like it is really nice and like soft, but for some reason it just always is tangled and frizzy and like staticky. I don't know. It's just I can't quite explain it, but I just don't feel the same level of peace and pure happiness when I look at Nanana as I do with a lot of my other dolls. And so that has me questioning whether I want them in my collection at all. I know for sure I'm not going to buy any more just because like if I'm feeling indecisive about them, I'm not going to spend more money on them, right? But yeah, I'm kind of like, do I really want these or would someone else enjoy these more? I don't know. That has yet to be determined. But as I said, I can definitely tell you that just because of those slightly conflicting feelings, we will not be adding any more Nananas to the collection because I don't have that kind of money where I can just be buying things that I'm unsure of. Then we have any sort of LOL doll. So, I mean, I have this Fierce doll as the example just because she was the one that was closest that I could grab. And also I do love having her in my hands. I love the Fierce dolls. I'm still so, like, I will never, never get over the fact that they got discontinued so quick. I think they're so good. But this is like literally any LOL, like the OMG, the Tweens, any Fierce secondhand dolls I won't be buying. I never did buy the Tots, but those are kind of included anyway, I guess. This is really just because I do think the brand is less exciting to me now. I feel like they are sort of going down the Rainbow High route, not as dramatically, but I mean, I said this in, I think my most recent Dolls I Don't Want video where I talked about some of the new Tweens dolls. They just look really, really empty. And I haven't spoken about these on the channel because I'm waiting for official stock photos. But if you've seen the leaks of the Powerpuff Girls OMG dolls, I have opinions and they are bad. And I will be making a video, trust, when we get stock photos, ripping those dolls to shred because we got news that they were going to be a thing and I was like, oh my gosh, this might reinvigorate my interest in LOL. And then I saw those pictures and the anger, again, we'll get into that once I actually have pictures just because I don't want to put anything else up because I'm really scared of copyright. But yeah, I feel like so many of the more recent designs are a lot more boring. You can definitely tell that like not as much budget is going into the dolls. They just don't have as many pieces or as many details. For a minute there, they were like wishy-washy with the wrist articulation. So I just don't feel like the LOL dolls that are currently being produced really make me feel excited or anything like that. So I do still have a collection of LOL dolls that I fully intend to keep, like this girly pop. I can't remember what year it was that she came out, but she was my favorite doll of the year. Like, I'm not getting rid of her. So I fully intend to keep my current LOL collection. I just really don't see myself adding to it in any capacity. There's like, I think one doll at this point that I do want that I would have to buy secondhand. But even like my secondhand wish list has really gone down. I'm kind of just like, yeah, I think I'm done buying LOL. I will enjoy the ones that I currently have. I'm happy with the ones that I have, but I don't need any more. And then we are going to round out the video with what is most certainly my most controversial take, and that is that I think I'm done with Gen 1 of Monster High, which feels insane of me to say because G1 is what got me into doll collecting. And so I need to give like an extra disclaimer here, right? This is not me trashing G1 of Monster High. This is not me like really even falling out of love with G1 of Monster High. They will always hold a very, very, very special place in my heart. They will always mean something to me, and I will always have at least some of them in my collection. But I don't really think that I want to buy many, if any, more. I mean, like, there are the collector, like Skeletor and like stuff that are coming out that I don't know what's going to come out in the future, so I guess I can't say for certain that I would never buy any of those. But generally speaking, most of them aren't ones that have interested me. And I'm talking like more so about secondhand dolls, right? Like buying old G1 dolls. And there's only a couple that I'm like, yeah, I still actively am like, I would do this, which is honestly a recent thought that has entered my head. Like, I don't think it's been that long since I talked about my Grail doll list, and I definitely had some G1 Monster High dolls on there. But the more that I think about it, the more I'm just like, I'm honestly priced out of collecting G1 dolls. Like, I have mine, I do love them. I am selling a couple, probably including this girly pop. But like for the most part, I'm very happy with my collection and I fully intend to keep my collection. I just cannot justify buying more of these. Like, I just can't. The secondhand prices are getting to a point where it's like not fun anymore, if that makes sense. Like, it doesn't bother me to see a doll that is older and so like she's not currently being produced and like, you know, she's suddenly 60, even 80 sometimes, like depending on how much I love the doll. I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, I'm not necessarily thrilled about the price tag, but just shut up and give me my doll, take my money, I'll do it. But I feel like they're just getting worse. And like, I know the secondhand market can ebb and flow, but seeing it be at this high point is really making me take a second look at these dolls and be slightly more critical of these dolls. And it's just not as fun to me. And I do think that part of it too is the fact that we do have G3 of Monster High. I know not everyone loves it. I do. Okay. I love G3 with my whole heart. I think those dolls are so fun. You can see a snippet of the collection over here, and I'm definitely actively collecting those. But I think that makes it even harder for me to want to buy the G1 dolls for the secondhand prices because I'm just like, okay, but I love G3. Like, obviously, if you don't love G3, I can understand being like, I'm willing to either search for good prices or pay higher prices for G1 dolls. But because I love G3, that's the other option on the table. And so at that point, I'm just like, why would I want to spend like $100 on one G1 Monster High doll that has like glue head, probably missing some accessories, maybe doesn't come with a stand or whatever? I know the G3 dolls don't either, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I could do that, or I could buy some G3 dolls. And because the G3 dolls to me are just as good, sometimes better, I'm going to pick that every time. And I feel like again, it's not that I've fallen out of love with G1 of Monster High. Like, I still really appreciate them, but I think that I feel more content kind of feeling in the same way that I do about Disney dolls, where it's just like, yeah, they're really beautiful. I'm happy for other people who have them. I like seeing pictures of them in other people's collections and like on my Instagram feed, but I don't need to own them. I think that's probably the best way to put it. Is it's not, ew, these dolls are ugly now or like anything crazy like that. It's just, I don't any longer feel for most of the G1 dolls that I need to have them in my collection. I need to add them to my collection is what I should be saying. Because again, we're not getting rid of most of my girly pops, but yeah, I just don't really feel the compulsion. I don't really like see these dolls anymore and think, oh my gosh, I really, really, really need that. I'm just kind of like, yeah, that's a nice doll. Like, I'm glad it's out there. So G1 will always be in my heart, will always have a place in my collection, but I don't think the collection's really going to grow, which again, it feels like crazy to say, but that's just kind of where I'm at. So that nice controversial note, those are all of the doll brands that I have functionally stopped collecting. Definitely let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I feel like maybe a lot of people are going to have a lot to say about the Monster High one in particular, or maybe I'm just being dramatic. Maybe there are other people out there feeling that way. Please sound out if you are, because I do feel a little crazy saying that. But we're keeping it honest, we're keeping it real on the channel. But I would love to hear, as I said up at the top of this video, that was a weird way to put it. I've said it now, though. I'm not going to take it back. I would love to know what doll brands you guys have stopped collecting and like what your thoughts are on why you stopped, or like what was going on that made you decide that you wanted to stop collecting those. Just very curious to hear about similar stories to my own that I have shared. But I'm going to stop yapping for today, guys. I do hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day or your night or whatever it might be, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye, guys.